Hey guys, this is Nabi About Yehuda. I am your real tour. This is live talk with an amazing guest. I'm really excited. And this is Know the Numbers with Don Daniel. So I'm gonna bring him up in a second. So just so that you guys know, listen. This is a get your life right situation. This is a know the numbers. Know before you just get out here in these house buying streets. And so I'm really excited. I've had him here before. We're going to do it again because we know that even in advertisements, you know how they keep showing the same commercial over and over and over and over because they understand that they have to keep repeating themselves. And so, we're just going to have to kind of hit you guys in the head again and give you this information. And so, again, for those of you that do not know me, I am Nabi About Yehuda Harbin, and I am a real estate strategist. And so I want to present Don here today because he's going to give you some information. You may know a little bit about it, but he's going to reveal, he is going to uncover, he's going to pull back the sheets and show you what's really good and what is really going on out here in these mortgage loan streets. And so with that, Don Daniels, there you go.
Hey there. Hey, Navi, how are you?
I'm divine, sir. How are you doing today?
Excellent today. Excellent.
All
I'm,
right.
I'm I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
I am too. I am too. I have a bunch of questions, but I'm going to try to stand down on a little bit of it. But so, all right. So I've had you as a guest before, and we've talked and we've shared
Hmm.
about mortgages and amortization schedules and how it is wreaking havoc on people simply because they are ignorant of. We're not saying you guys are dumb or stupid. Let's get a working definition. Ignorant just means you don't know. That's all. That's all. You're just void of information. And so we want to make sure that you get the information that you need in order to step into that place called financial freedom. Remember, listen, the borrower is always a slave to the lender.
That is
Always a
correct.
slave to the lender. And so, with that said, I'm going to turn it over to him and just let him give you a little bit of background. And we're going to kind of uh, dance around here and see what we can get going.
All right. I want to make sure you can hear me. If you can hear me on Clubhouse, put a number one in the chat.
Yes, please do. If you guys
Put
can
a number
hear.
one in the chat already for me if you can hear me.
Listen, sometimes we do these things and we're trying to figure it out, and it's okay. But I'm glad that you guys are here, that you are excited to learn some things about debt cancellation, a better way to make sure that you are really walking into that financial freedom. As I said earlier, a lot of times we don't do things because we are void of information. We just don't know. And so, also for those of you that are watching on social media, you see his information up there, ice10k.com. Please follow him. And I'm going to put that in the chat on Clubhouse because I did not do it because we were over here shenanigans, the shenanigans, and so we're just going to get started. We know that things happen, but we are going to marshal forward. All right. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to. Well, let me ask you this, Don. How long? How long have you been in this space of understanding what it is to cancel debt? Or let me say it like this: how long have you come into the knowledge of understanding exactly what's going on when a person purchases a home and they're setting themselves up for numbers that they are not really familiar with and what's really going on with them?
So, Nabi, here's what I found out. I've been working on this 17 years. And every year I learn more and more about this whole situation. Most people, when they call, if they do call, they'll tell me that they understand amortization, but they understand what it is. They know what their schedule is, but they don't understand how it works. That's the thing. How the bank charges us interest. We know that they charge it. We know that we make a payment every month on our mortgage for 30 years. We know what the schedule looks like, but we don't know how to read it. No one has ever taught us how to read. Okay? So you know for a fact that it was illegal to teach slaves how to read.
Yes.
And you just quoted from the Bible that borrowers are slave to the lender. So if you want to keep slaves in slavery, don't let them learn how to read. Okay. So by us not learning how to read an amortization schedule, which the bank uses, the formula that creates it is the formula that charges interest. So if we don't know the rules, how can we win? We're going to pay interest like that forever because we don't know any different. Someone said on my show today, it's like a modern day sharecropping, where if you don't know the math, then the owner of the property is always going to tell you, you still owe me money, or we just broke even. In sharecropping, you never make money because you don't know the math involved. So if we use the math that the bank gives us, we're going to pay 75% more interest than we need to pay. But once you understand how it all works, you can save a ton. You can actually borrow money at a discount without sacrificing lifestyle. And you don't need more money. The way to handle debt is not make more money, but pay less interest. And let's start with that.
Yeah, let's start with that. But yeah, we're going to start with that because I think that's really, really
You're
powerful.
muted on Clubhouse.
I know that's what I'm looking for because I minimized it. Stand by.
Okay. There we
Okay,
go.
guys, sorry about that. So we're going to start with that because what you just shared, Don, is really, really powerful. First of all, the whole idea of the ignorance. Let's keep them in a place where they don't know how to read, where they don't really understand what's going on, but they only go by what we're telling them, and we're not going to tell them everything because we stand to gain as long as they do not understand. And so, even as the Bible says, in all you're getting, get wisdom, and all you're getting, get understanding.
Understanding.
And so, we can listen to a lot of gurus that will make some sense, but I promise you, a lot of their principles started in the Bible because guess what? The creator of the universe, not the universe, but the creator of the universe outsmarts, outthinks, and outranks everyone. So let's just get that clear. This is not a religious debate. We just know that this book was written way before all these people we listen to was even a thought. Okay, let's get that part straight. So yeah, so let's start with that, Don. When we don't understand how the amortization schedule works, like we're familiar with it, we've heard about it, we've seen what one looks like, we understand when we and I use the term understand lightly. We understand that we have a payment every month. We
Mm-hmm.
we 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 get that. We get that. We get that. But we don't understand what it's doing to us in the long run. We don't understand the amount of money that's really coming out of our pockets in the long run. We don't understand that we are paying up to 2.5 times for our property, the property that we think that we own. we think that we own. Like I mean, we can talk about title theories and title deeds, and yeah, we can talk about that. But we want to know the numbers. We want to be very familiar. Know means to be intimate, have that intimate knowledge. And as long as we don't have intimate knowledge, we're just going to keep doing the same thing. And so, in your book, and you told me that most people they skip this chapter. I wanted to go back to the very simple understanding of chess. And so Data and Lieutenant Troy was in a game. Can you kind of take us from that standpoint, please?
Well, in that it's a Star Trek reference, and then you have Lieutenant Data, who is an artificial has artificial intelligence, and can calculate well beyond what we can calculate, and makes decisions based on the numbers. And because of that, you may want to have somebody like that around to help you to calculate the numbers on your mortgage or student loan or credit cards or whatever, and then figure out what's the best way to handle that. But without the human interaction, then data will give you the straight skinny on the math is the math. Okay, just follow the math. This is logical. But in that case, then you may do something that may upset somebody in your family that you borrowed money from at maybe 0% interest. And data says, why pay that back? That's cheap. All right. There's no interest there. Pay back the other ones that are charging you interest, and leave Aunt Emma to last. Okay. And then Aunt Emma gets all upset because you're not paying her back. And she did you this fabulous favor. So when it comes to our program, you want to be able to do that, not just do that which is going to be efficient, but you also want to do that which you have to add some context to what you're doing. What is the human context to whatever it is that you're doing? And when you have that and you have the calculations, you'll know that you're going to pay back Aunt Emma, but you're also going to know how much extra interest that's going to cost you by paying back Aunt Emma. So it's good to be able to know two things. And here's why this is important to know the cost. The average family pays 35 to 39% of their take home pay just on interest. In my book, I call it interest consumption. Okay. With interest consumption, how much interest are you consuming each month? Not just focus on the payment, because if we focus on the payment we have to make, we can easily make all of our payments. We can make those payments no problem. But what we're not keeping track of is how much interest we're paying each month. And when you add up just the interest payments, folks, then it's going to come up to 35, on average, 35 to 39% of your take home pay, even though you're doing very well financially otherwise. But we have no idea how much interest we're consuming each month. And it is that interest that keeps us in debt forever, not the money we borrowed. The money you borrowed is not the problem. We're taught we're taught to focus on the money we borrowed. We're taught to focus on the payment. We're taught to focus on what is the interest rate and get the best interest rate. What we're not taught is how much does it cost to manage the debt? Because once you figure out how much it costs to manage the debt, then you're going to start focusing on what can I do to lower the cost. And folks, everything you know, everything you already know on how to lower the cost is wrong. And we may have an opportunity to bust some of those myths today on how you manage the cost of a loan, how you get it down, and how you keep it down. But what you've already learned, we have to unlearn and do something different.
That's awesome. And I think that we go in it not realizing I'm borrowing money, but I have to pay for this money. I'm paying to, and listen, it's a business. We're not mad at people for doing a business, for starting a business, for out there endeavoring. And if they can make this much money, we're not really mad at them. But if we can step out of, as you said, what we were taught and what we were told, and find this new way, and it's about, okay, there's a difference between me taking putting myself in the car and driving from Florida to New York, and it's taking me how many hours? Or you can take a train, how many hours? You can take Greyhound buses, how many hours, and God knows they take forever. And then there's the hop on the plane, same destination, leaving from the same point, ending in the same point, but how fast do you get there? And what are you saving? What are you saving? What are you saving? For those of you guys on Clubhouse, you don't see Don shaking his head. Yes. Yes, sir. You can take over this cockpit. Go ahead. You're up.
And you're right, and you're right. So when you're trying to figure all of that out, Nabia, you want to know what it costs and then what you can do about it. Let me give you an example. I'm putting it on the screen. There you go. There it
Boom,
is.
bam, pow.
All right, that's how it's a. So, folks, here's what we've got, and if you can't see it, catch the replay. But here's what we're looking at, and if you, for those of you who can, we have a $200,000 mortgage here at 6%. The payment is 1199.10, and that's what we're focusing on, what the payment is, and the term. It's a 30-year loan. All right, it's a $200,000 house for 30 years. We're used to that. But guess what? There are cars that cost $200,000. Can you get a 30-year loan on a car even if it's a Rolls Royce? Can you get a 30-year loan on it?
Hmm.
Absolutely not. That car has to be paid off in no more than 7 or 8 years. And they are. So if you can pay off a $200,000 car in 7 or 8 years, how come it takes 30 years to pay off a $200,000 house? Have you ever asked yourself that question? That's an important question. Let me show you what happens when we use this amortization to pay off this house. Let me show you in the summary what the bank is looking for on to pay off this house. You're paying $200,000 that you borrowed. Okay. Then down here, they want you to see, well, how much interest do we need to pay on this for 30 years? It's $231,676 in interest. That's more interest than you borrowed in principal. When you add them both together, you're not paying $200,000 for that house. You're paying $431,676 for a $200,000 house in a $200,000 neighborhood. Is that how you want to spend your money? That's the thing. Let me show you what they're really doing. So 6%, if we look over here to the right, total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 115.838%. 115.838%. That's what we're dealing with. How
Hmm.
can we reduce the amount of interest that we're paying once we know how to read an amortization schedule? Folks, what I'm teaching you right now is not my program. What I'm teaching right now is what happens when you understand the rules to the game. And if you use a program like mine that optimizes the amount of interest you can save with the money that you're using, then you can save even more interest than I'm going to show you right now. Let's scroll down to payment number one. And I'm looking at payments number one through, I think it seemed like 1 through 23 or something like that. But
Mhm.
you see the headings. You've got the payment number, then the principal, then the interest, then cumulative interest, cumulative principal rather, that adds up all of our principal payments. Cumulative interest adds up all of our interest payments. And then you have the principal balance in column number four. One, two, three, four, column number five. Column number five. All right, so now let's take a look at payment number one. Out of $199,200, okay, out of $199,200, okay, I'm sorry, you weren't hearing me on the Clubhouse.
Yes,
All
they
right,
were, because I have my mic
they were
open.
okay. Are we still good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. So if we can hear you, if you hear me good, then let's go ahead and continue. All right, if we have 199,000, I mean, 1199.10. Got 1199.10. Only $199.10 goes to principal.
Stand by. Open your mic.
Open my mic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, here we go. All right, there we go. Only $199.10 goes to principal out of that payment. $1,000 goes to interest out of that payment. $1,000. While you're trying to pay your mortgage down with your 1199.10, that mortgage payment you get so used to after a while. In the beginning, only $199.10 goes to principal, $1,000 goes to interest. That's what's slowing you down. But by not knowing how to read it, we will do this eventually in the first year. Do you see the principal payments that get made every single month in the first year? Do you see all the interest payments that you're paying every single month in the first year? In that first year, when you add up all the principal payments, you will pay this loan down by $2,456 and a penny. What happened? It disappeared. So we're going to bring it back. Oh, okay. I need to share it again. All right, it just disappeared. So let me stop. Let me stop sharing. Let me share the screen again. Entire screen. There we go. Share screen. There it is. It's back. There we go. All right. So, folks, so we're if we do this, look at how much principal you pay down in 1 year. $2,456 and a penny. Over to the right, you're able to see how much interest you need to pay. $11,933.19. Who wants to pay that kind of money in interest just to get $2,456 and a penny in principal pay down or new equity? Right now, we're going to learn the basics of interest cancellation. And that's why they call me the interest cancellation expert, or ICE for short. We're going to show you how to ICE your mortgage, how to ICE your student loans, how to ICE your credit cards so that you can become an interest cancellation expert and know that interest cancellation eliminates your loans. Not more money, not making more money, not trying to manipulate the interest rate, not by refinancing, okay? Not by stealing money from your family so that they can't have any fun or create memories. We ice our loans by canceling interest. Cancel the interest, the loan goes away faster. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. If we make a payment here, the very first payment on this loan, let's say we're making it in January. So we made the payment in January. $199.10 went to principal, $1,000 went to interest, and we're left with, out of a $200,000 and 10 cents, we're left with $199,000.90. That's what we're left with. The bank uses this number to figure out how much interest we pay on line two. Since we owe less, then we pay less interest on line two. And our interest payment goes all the way down to $999 from $1,000. So that is a $1 difference. So that dollar goes over to principal. Now you're paying $200.10. So here's how the program actually works. All right. So if we got, now, if I make my very first payment in January, I can see that my principal payment for February is $200.10. Does that mean I have to wait till February to give the bank this $200.10? The answer is no. If you have it, you can actually pay that $200.10 in January. So if you make your regular payment in January, Then you're subtracting the $199.10. You brought down to here. If you give the bank an additional $200.10 in January, that's prepaying the principal on your amortization schedule. And your next mortgage payment for February is now on line 3. This is where you are. What just happened? For $200.10 paid early, you just eliminated line 2 from your amortization schedule. This is what icing the loan means: canceling the interest. You just paid the $200 early. You just saved, you just saved that line. You just knocked it out. And the $999 in interest, you just saved. You never have to pay that. How many of you are excited to know that it is that easy to eliminate $999 in interest you never have to pay? Right, I saw some comments coming up on the screen from online. Let's see to see your comments in the chat on Clubhouse. Listen, folks, this is exciting. Once you learn how to read this thing, you can do some fabulous stuff with your money. And it says, Don, where's this extra money coming from? Okay. Let me give you an easy understanding of where the money comes from. It's the money that's left over after you paid all your bills. So we need to track your income and track your monthly spending this way. For most people, we want you to make sure that you're spending money on your family. In our program, that's number one. In Dave Ramsey's program, that's last. Spending money on yourself is last. In our program, it's first. You need to figure out how much you want to spend on yourself to create memories and to have good feelings about working so you don't feel as if you're working just to pay bills. How much money are you spending on lifestyle? That's number one. Number two, how much money are you putting away for savings for the future? Okay, that's number two. Number three, are you making the minimum payments on your loans? And just the minimum payments, folks. That's where we start, making the minimum payments on the loan. And number four, are you paying the rest of the bills? Buying food, paying for the cell phone, paying internet and cable and insurance. All right. Are you buying gasoline? Those things. Are the rest of the bills being paid? If you track that, then you also have money left over at the end of the month. How are you using that money to cancel interest? That's where that money comes from. And you're not putting on the loan every month, only at strategic times during the year. You're just saving it up in savings until the right time. Now, for each family, that's different. For each family, it's different. For each business, it's different. For each church, it's different. Oh, yes. If you have debt on your church or synagogue, you can eliminate that debt in 5 to 7 years without extra giving from the members. It is possible once you understand what I'm getting ready to show you. Let's get back to our example. So if I can get rid of this $999 in interest just for a $200 principal payment early, what would happen if I did this, folks? I make my payment in January. I'm looking at this amortization schedule, and I want to ice this loan. I'm going to take a look at, oh, I got a few extra bucks in the bank. We saved up some money. So I'm going to prepay the $200.10, the 201.10, and the 202.10. That's $603.30. I'm going to take that money out of my bank account, out of my savings account. I'm making 1/10 of 1% interest on that savings account. So I'm going to take that money, I'm going to apply it to this loan early. And guess what, folks? I just eliminated the interest on line 2, line 3, and line 4. That is almost $3,000 in interest I never have to pay. I just eliminated three payments from my payment schedule. I don't longer have a 360-month payment schedule. I just have taken off four payments that I never have to make. So I made one and I skipped three. So four are gone. My next mortgage payment for February is now on line five. Look at that. Look at that. Line five. That is the power of interest cancellation. Once you understand that, then you'll be able to do some additional math. I'm going to do one more calculation for you guys here. Okay. I want to show you something. We're going to put on your return on investment. Start treating your mortgage like an investment. I'm going to give you something here. If we take the $999 from the interest on line 2, 999 divided by the $200.10 that we prepay. Because if you prepay the $200.10, you don't have to pay the $999 in interest. Okay? So we'll do this. We're going to divide the $999 by the $200.10. Look at this. We move the decimal point. Let me pull this down so you can see it. We move the decimal point two places to the right. Look at that. That is a 499% return on your money. It was Benjamin Franklin that said a penny saved is a penny earned. What about $999 saved? Is that $999 earned? So when you do the math and people are telling you, don't pay off this cheap loan, put all your extra money into some sort of investment so you can make 7, 8, 9, 10%. Folks, I just showed you how you can get a 500% return on your money by knowing how to read an amortization schedule. Back to you. Any more questions?
Oh my goodness. Shaking my head. Shaking my head. So guys, can you clearly see this? I mean, the screen was right there. And if you guys on Clubhouse did not come out of there to see this, you're missing something. You're missing something. I just, yeah. I mean, no matter how many times I see and hear this, it's always mind blowing. Always. Every single time. Because it tells me I was shackled. I had no idea what was going on. I just went along to get along. I just went along to get along. And so this is financial freedom. We've heard about it, we have talked about it, but we haven't really been walking in it. And we haven't been taking the steps. I mean, when you listen to enough people, you come to the conclusion that the fortune is in the follow up. Is that true, Don? The fortune is in the follow up.
Exactly. Um, when you don't follow up, you foul up.
That
You've got to
part.
follow up.
That part. All right, guys. So we see you guys in the clubhouse. Did you guys have any questions? You can put it in the chat. You can come to the stage. Shanga, I see you are already on stage. Did you have a question? All right. Sometimes it's so overwhelming. We don't have any questions. We're just like, okay, what just happened?
She may have to go out and come back in for us to hear.
Okay, so this is what happened to me, and I get what you're saying, and I wish I had that information before I paid off a loan early, because it didn't impact my credit score by paying the loan off early. I should have just taken some of those interest payments away and paid them and allowed the loan to go maybe for another year, and then my credit would have been impacted by that.
Okay, so let's take a
Is
look.
that correct?
Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that. All right. So are you okay? Let's take a look at that. So it all depends. If you have more than one loan, you want to make sure that you're focusing on the right loans at the right time because it's all about interest cancellation. Okay. So what type of loans did you have at the time, and which one did you pay off?
I only had one, and it was a mortgage.
Okay. So if you only had the one and we're paying off the mortgage, so by using the right amount of money, then when you put some money on the debt, paying more, you save time and you save interest, correct?
Correct.
Now, here's my question. At any time, were you ever aware of how much interest you were actually saving?
Mm, not really.
No, because they didn't tell you.
Right.
Okay. You've never gotten a receipt from your bank that said, thank you for the extra payment. Here's how much interest you saved. You know what's worse?
Correct.
We never even bothered to ask. We didn't know we could ask. And if we did ask,
Wow.
the person answering the phone could not give you an answer.
Now that's the truth, because they act like they didn't know what was going on. I gave them the money to pay it off because I was just aggravated from it,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought, okay, that'll put me in a good position with my credit. Nope, nothing happened, so I got angry. I was like, I could have just paid the interest and just,
Mm-hmm. So
been better off.
there is a lot that goes on with understanding credit, understanding what happens when we prepay, what understanding what happens when you save interest. There's a whole lot that goes on with this. But what we're doing is we're using logic and we're using the best information that we have to figure out what's going on, and none of what we already have applies to the truth of managing debt. None of it, because we were never taught that. Just think of, may I ask what you do for a living?
Sure, I'm a real estate investor.
Okay, so I'm a real estate investor. I just started today.
Yeah, right. So I had a property and I rented it out
Yeah.
for years, 13 years, and very profitable.
Okay.
And then I went on and got a timeshare, which I enjoy. I'm not one of those people that wish I never did it. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm a real estate investor. You got 13 years experience. I'm a real estate
Yeah.
investor. I just started today.
Oh, are you serious?
Am I going
I
to
thought
be
you were
able?
joking.
Am I going to be able to do what you do
Yeah. Mm.
starting today? Can
Well,
I?
no, absolutely not.
What are you talking? What are you talking about? Listen, I'm a real estate investor. You're a real estate investor. You have 13 years experience. I have 1 day experience. I should be able to make as much money as you starting tomorrow. So it's not gonna crack it up. Okay.
I don't think so. It took me a while to make the kind of money I had to wait some years to get to the place where I could earn that kind of money from the property.
There
So
you
yeah,
go.
no, it don't happen like that.
There you go. And so
It don't happen like that.
here's what we're doing with absolutely no training. We're trying to
Hmm.
figure out what to do with these loans, and we have not been taught one thing about how it works. So
Facts.
you weren't. It wasn't because you were asleep in class or not paying attention. There was no class on this. How could you know?
None.
So that's what we're offering now. You can now know how to borrow money at a discount and level up how much money you can actually make through saving money and the extra interest you pay on these loans is not the problem, the real problem. Do you know what
I hear you.
the real problem is? All the money that money will never make for you. Listen,
I hear you.
do you know the story of Jacob and Esau? So when Esau was out there hungry, and Jacob was, he had some lentils, and he was, he put his foot in those lentils. Okay, all right. And so he's making up some lentils, and he got some garlic in there. He put some onion, and some, some cayenne, and here come Esau saying, "I know I am so hungry." And it says, "Well," Jacob says, "Well, I got all this food here, but all I need is your birthright." And says, "Listen, what good is a birthright if I'm going to die of hunger? Yeah, I'll trade you my birthright. Give me them lentils." So he traded his birthright for the lentils. Can you imagine? And so now all of the wealth that was supposed to go to him is now going to Jacob. So I'm gonna fast forward to the end of the story. So so Jacob is coming back home because dad died. And Esau is out there with all his people, and Jacob is afraid that Esau's going to kill him because he had the birthright. So what did Jacob do? He sent he sent all kinds of animals and everything ahead. Part of his wealth, sent it ahead to Esau, so Esau would calm down and wouldn't kill him. So let me ask you something. What did Jacob actually send Esau? Jacob sent Esau the interest on the birthright he sold for porridge. It's not the amount of money that you pay, folks. It's the interest you never get on the money if you pay it. That is the lesson of this story. Okay, I know you never heard it that way. Please forgive me if I've taken license, but I need y'all to understand that the extra money you pay, you can also earn interest on it. So, yes, I gave him the birthright. I paid for the porridge with my birthright. But what I really lost out on is all the interest forever on that birthright.
Forever. Prepayment of principal is important. It's important. Why? Because the bank is designed to get the most from you, to get your birthright, to get everything from you that you could have had.
Right? That's true.
Okay.
That's so true. And
That's
that's what we need to focus on because we're supposed to be laying up um, an inheritance for our children's children.
mhm.
And right now, folks, you're spending your children's inheritance on interest, and we need to stop.
As I always like to say, and I said this about myself, please don't be offended. Because I spent a lot of time being offended by things that I did not know. It was offending me. Guess what? I'm going to stop doing stupid. I'm going to stop doing stupid. And I'm glad this part is echoing because it needs to. Echo, 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 echo. Stop doing stupid, stupid, stupid. So, what we have done is put before you a table. The table is set. Everything on the table is true. Everything on the table is a guide to help you to come into the real promised land. Not the promise that the banks promised, because that's a different type of promised land. We promise to rob you every chance we get. We promise to steal your children and your children's children's inheritance. That's the promise that we've made amongst ourselves. But this table, like the Bible says, he sets a table before you in the presence of your enemies. The bank is not your friend. The mortgage lender, not your friend. It's not. It's smoke and it is mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. And if we get to the point where we can host the truth, because you got to make room for the truth. You have to make room for it. Everything that we do is by decision. I say this all the time. Life consists of choices. And if we keep choosing the same thing, if we keep choosing the lines that lead to poverty, the lines that keep you from stepping into your wealthy place, we're going to have that same manner of complaints, the same level of, well, I can't afford this. Let me see if I could scramble. The days of scramble, if you're not having scrambled eggs, that's the only scramble I'm willing to accept. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. So 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 Keisha, Samuel, Shange, Adrian, Sonia, all of you guys that are listening, all of you guys that are listening on the replay, look at the table that's set before you in the presence of your enemies. If you eat from that table, you will surely live and eat, and you will have the good of the land. That's your inheritance. The Bible says this. God says, behold, that means take a look. I have given you power to get wealth. You've got it. You've got it. But again, life consists of choices. You have to choose. You have to choose if you want to take the route. You may be uncomfortable. You may not exactly know the way, but at least if you make the decision, you know what? I'm going to get on this journey. I'm going to learn what I need to learn. I'm going to make room for the truth, and I am going to implement all that I know. If I need to get a mentor, if I need to get a coach, if I need to buy a book, if I need to jump in this program, whatever it is that I need to do, I am committed to doing that. So you see that little www that's up there? Oh, I got to put it back in the chat on Clubhouse. Don10k.com. That's all you need to remember. Don10k.com. I'm going to strongly advise you to hop on there, and because we don't understand our credit reports, we have so many things to learn and unlearn. We have so many things to learn and unlearn, and so this is again your opportunity. And the interesting thing is this truth, like the Bible, we have to read the Bible more than once because we need to get familiar with Scripture. When you went to your job, maybe you knew a little bit, but then you had to go through some kind of training so that you can get acclimated to that organization and the way that they do things. I mean, come on, it's the same thing. Just come in here, get acclimated, learn some things. We promise we're not going to do stupid anymore. We're not going to do that. Make a commitment to yourself that we are not going to do stupid anymore. And our family, our children, our grandchildren, some of our friends, some of our neighbors, they will thank us for not doing stupid no more. And then brought them in and said, hey, let me show you what I've learned. This is how I got free. This is how I made it over. So let's get on this little underground train station, this underground railroad, and let's run ourselves right into the arms of freedom. And Don, I want to thank you so much for coming in once again, giving us your wisdom, your experience. But we are going to get ready to close this room in the next 5 minutes.
Okay, folks. So listen, if you want to know more about this, you can go to the don10k.com Sometimes if you put the www in front of it, it won't work just right. But if you just go to don10k.com, and then you'll find a button there that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report. Fill out all of that information. Once you fill it out, then you will be let into our financial form. Put all of your debt in there and everything that we ask for, and you can know the month, day, and year you'll be debt free and how much interest you can save. And we guarantee there is no program on the planet that is more powerful than this one in saving interest and getting you out of debt in the fastest way possible. Because the fastest way possible is the cheapest way possible. Our program is the only one that focuses on how to eliminate interest cost. Our program is the only one that ice your debt. Interest cancellation eliminates mortgages. Interest cancellation eliminates car loans. Interest cancellation eliminates student loans. Whatever loan you have, ice that loan today. So go ahead and you'll see information about my book as well, which gives you a great introduction to interest cancellation. It's going to be the best introduction to interest cancellation you'll ever find. Why? Because it's the only one you will find. Out of 33 million titles on Amazon, only one book even begins to talk about this subject, and it's my book, The Pill Method, A Better Way to Eliminate Debt. Also, folks, don't sit on this information. Don't sleep on it. What you want is to get control of your finances, get control of the amount of interest that you're paying, stop giving that to the bank, and then invest that money in your family instead of letting them invest it, making them rich. So, folks, I want to thank you very much for allowing me to come in here today and to speak to you. And I'm looking forward to maybe coming back again. And if you fill out that information, we'll be working together as well. Oh, by the way, some of you, if you've been inspired, you're going to see this as a mission now. And the top two buttons on that 10K card, on my digital business card, are how you can become an affiliate for free. So, what you want to do is contact Nabia. And if you want to know anything about this for yourself, contact her. If you know somebody else that may want to do this, contact her. And then she will forward it on to me and we'll take care of them. What do you think, Nabia? Can we do that?
Absolutely.
All right. We're looking for people that
Yes.
can help us to help others. So anyway, that's what we're up to. Thank you so very much. I hope to talk to you soon, Nabia.
Yes. So we're about to shut this room down. We're going to count it down. We do want to say thank you so much, Don, for being here. This has been so, oh my God, this has just been like OMG. OMG and OMG, but we're gonna stop being, we're not going to be in that situation where it's why stand ye here gazing? Why stand ye gazing? Oh my God. Why stand you gazing? So I mean, we can go on and on to talk about this because it is one of those delayering, delayering, and we can really go deep, and we will be back. However, as he said, if you have any interest in doing this, please, number one, don10k.com, the pill method, that book is on Amazon. Also reach out to me, you can back channel me. For those of you that are on Clubhouse, or you guys are watching on social media, send me a message and we can get this ball rolling. I know, I'm going to say this, I know that sometimes what happens is we get into a place where we are so intimidated and we are so afraid that we cannot move forward. But I'm going to tell you, do it afraid. Do it afraid. Just do it afraid. Do it afraid. You are, listen, you it's, this is what we say when we're doing business. When somebody decides they want to take on another form of making money, you're in business, not, you're in business for yourself, but you're not in business by yourself. And so we are the body. We are trying to clink clink and hook up together and walk with you through this process. You don't have to do this by yourself. So if you're going to be afraid, okay, we can say, you know what, I'm nervous, I'm a little bit intimidated, not sure how I'm going to do this, but you got to jump. I've never seen a parachute open without somebody actually jumping. That part. So, with that said, we're going to shut this down. And I just want to thank you guys for leaning in, tuning in. For those of you watching a replay, kudos to you. Thank you so much. And for those of you that are not following Don, please follow him. If you're not following me, please follow me. All right. So, with that said, I'm going to stop talking and we're going to land this plane. And we're going to close this room. All right,
Okay.
guys. So, we're going to close this room out in three, in two, and one. Thank you so much.